And with me now is Sharan Kaur, a Liberal strategist. Sharan, thanks as always for joining us.
Happy to be here.
The big meeting, of course, next week, but I want to talk a little bit about some other things that Carney is focusing on, his cabinet. What do you expect to see in that? Who do you expect to see in that cabinet? What do you think the focus will be?
Well, I think what we're going to see is Mark Carney's take on what his cabinet should look like. I know there's been a lot of criticism throughout the campaign around the fact that his I would call it that transition cabinet that he had just pre-election, had a lot of older faces in it. And yeah, by default they did. He's the new leader, and I would expect that as he decides who is going to go into his new cabinet, we're going to see him focus on skill sets and putting people in positions where they can really help push forward the agenda from the platform. So I would expect to see a lot of new faces. You might see some older faces, but I would say it's hard to speculate on something like this because everything is moving so quickly. We've got some wonderful new faces in caucus, and it would be great to see some of those faces in cabinet as well.
Who would you like to see of those new faces?
Well, I'm not going to speculate of all those faces. Listen, there's a lot of really good, smart candidates who are completely new to politics here in Ontario and across Canada that I think would bring a lot of great skill set. It's really important to bring outside perspective into government. And Mark Carney, who is not I would say, a lifelong politician, he's not the retail-facing type of politician. And he brought a lot of people like that who are business-focused backgrounds, who have lived experiences from different sectors. And at least for me, I'd like to see some of those new, fresh faces in cabinet, those who are going to focus on moving the agenda forward. We've got a really big housing platform that they want to get through, affordability, but also the biggest issue that we have right now, which is how do we deal with Donald Trump? And we see he's going down there next week. So I think cabinet will also reflect a bit of that Canada-U.S. relations.
And now you mentioned his finance background. Will he govern more from the centre, do you think, than where Trudeau did?
I'd hope so. It's something that Liberals like myself, who I worked in this government from 2015 to 2020, and did find that towards the later half of 2020 to 2025, the centrist fiscal anchor did kind of disappear. Now, you can still invest in your economy and still spend in helping Canada become more productive and help with growth, but also looking at how can we pull back funds? Where can we be more efficient? And I would expect someone like Prime Minister Carney to do that. Again, he does come from an economic background, and I think we're going to see him govern with more fiscal prudence, but also without causing any pull on any specific type of funds. I think he is going to look at where do we need to spend to invest and where do we maybe not need to spend that's not going to help the economy or the country or people.
Okay, Sharan, thank you very much for your insight. Appreciate it as always.